Alright, Calc 3. Today we're starting the last chapter of Calc 3. We're starting with parametrizing surfaces and surface area. This gets a little confusing. Today not so much, but there's just a lot to the surface area integrals, and especially if we do the implicit form, which we're going to do probably Monday or Tuesday. But, well, unless you're watching this another day. Alright, so today we're going to just talk about parametrizing a surface. What that means is we're going to take a surface equation that's in 3 dimensions and get it in terms of 2 parameters. So again, the goal is to get it from 3 variables to 2. And tomorrow you'll see why. We're going to do you can find surface area pretty easily once you do that. So if you want to pause right now to write this stuff down, basically this is just saying that the parametric equation of a surface in terms of the 2 variables are f, g, and h in terms of those 2 variables. So you're getting it down to the 2 variables. Okay? So let's look at a couple of examples of this. First example is this cone. And it would help if my computer worked. Alright, here we go. Excuse me. So if you look at this cone, right now we have z, x squared, and y squared, and you're trying to figure out ways to make this into something else. Some common things to do is look for spherical or polar coordinates that you can change. Other things are subbing in from one equation to another. Here we don't have any sub-ins, but we do know that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared in polar. So that means that z is equal to the square root of r squared, that means that z is equal to r. So now we have z in terms of r. And luckily in polar we know, and we can just say, that x is equal to r cosine theta, and that y is equal to r sine theta. So now if you look at this, we have x in terms of r and theta, y in terms of r and theta, z in terms of r. There's no theta, but that doesn't matter. Notice how that we have now gotten x, y, and z in terms of 2 variables just by using polar conversions. So therefore, we can write that the parametrization of this surface R, oh my, come on, in terms of r and theta is equal to x is r cosine theta. Of course, this is the day I'm having. Alright, here we go. R sine theta for y. And then finally we found out that using those conversions that z equals r. So this would be the parametric form. Now, very careful though, that is not the final answer. You have to give bounds for both of your parameters. So if we look at the drawing, we have that the r value, or the z value, because z equals r, goes up to 1. So our r value is between 0 and 1. And again, if you look at the drawing, the cone goes all the way around the axis. So therefore, our theta goes between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so this is the entire answer. This represents the cone, and these are the values for the bounds for the 2 parameters that we did it in terms of. So that is turning it into an equation with 2 variables. Okay, so let's look at the next problem. Find the parametrization of a sphere. X squared, y squared, z squared equals a squared. Now the nice thing is, a is the radius, so it's already a constant. It's not a variable. Again, if you go back to your spherical equations, I'm going to use spherical coordinates. Spherical equations were r cosine theta sine phi. So we're going to say a cosine theta sine phi. Sorry, it's phi. I keep messing that up, but that's okay. So we have sine theta sine phi, and finally z is equal to a cosine phi. Again, these were given to you back in the last chapter when we did actually it was probably chapter 6 when we did spherical coordinates. Again, since a is a constant, that is not a variable. Everything is in terms of two variables here. So right away we're pretty much done. Just by going to spherical coordinates, we have it. So we can say that the surface, in terms of theta and phi, is determined by an x of a cosine theta sine phi, a sine theta sine phi, and then a cosine phi. Okay. Now we just have to list the parameters for these, or the bounds for the parameters, I should say. Remember that theta is still theta, so theta will go from 0 to 2 pi. But phi, remember phi is measured from the positive z-axis all the way down to wherever it sweeps through. So in this case, it sweeps all the way to the negative z-axis. Remember, phi can never be more than pi. So in this case, it is exactly, that's how big it gets. It sweeps from the top to the bottom. And then the 2 theta deals with the whole sphere. So phi is just from 0 to pi. So this is the parameterization of this sphere with a radius of a. Okay? Alright, let's do one more parameterization and then we'll call it a day. Pause the screen if you need to go back and look at these. This one we're going to do a little more work. Find a parameterization of the cylinder. Okay? Well, again, it's sometimes easier to do polar, because polar lends itself to two variables. However, notice that there is no z in any equation, so we can't turn z into x and y. So unfortunately, we have x is equal to r cosine theta. I really am having pen issues today. Could be that this is on. Alright, well, there we go. We get y is equal to r sine theta. And then we get that z is just equal to z. There's no, in cylindrical coordinates, z is z. So the problem is we have to figure out how to change this. So let's sub in for x and y, because we have an equation up here. So I'm going to say r squared cosine squared theta plus r sine theta minus 3 quantity squared equals 9. All I'm doing is taking what I know that x and y equal in cylindrical and plugging it in. So when you FOIL and simplify this, you get r squared cosine squared theta plus r squared sine squared theta minus 6r sine theta plus 9 equals 9. You guys should recognize that when you factor an r squared out of that piece, you get an identity of cosine squared plus sine squared, which is 1. So you just get an r squared. So basically this turns into r squared is equal to minus 6r sine theta. And then the 9's cancel out, so we get equals 0. So what can we do with this? We can solve for r. So we get that r is equal to 6 sine theta. Well, how does that help us? We now have r in terms of theta, which is good, because now I can go back and notice that I have these r's here. If I can sub that in, I now remove another letter from the equation and I can get this thing into two variables. I know before I was saying r and theta are easy to use, but sometimes you don't use r and theta in the final answer. You just have to use whatever two variables you can get it in terms of. So in this case, x now turns into 6 sine theta cosine theta, because that's what r is. R turns into 6 sine theta. Y is equal to 6 sine theta sine theta, which is just 6 sine theta, or sine squared theta. And z is still equal to z. So now here are my three equations for x, y, and z, and notice how I only have two variables now. I have theta and I have z. So to write the parametric equation for this cylinder, I'm going to write it in terms of theta and z, not r and theta. And then I'm just going to write, man, I'm hitting everything today. There we go. Go away. All right. We're going to do x is 6 sine theta cosine theta. Y is 6 sine squared theta. And z is z. And then we just have to list the different values. Well, the nice thing is I tell you what z is between. Z is between 0 and 5. And theta, you have to look at the diagram here. This cylinder is actually up in the positive y-axis, so we're starting at a theta of 0 and only going to a theta of pi. There's no cylinder on the bottom two quadrants, so theta is going to be between 0 and pi. And this is the parametric equation for that cylinder. Okay? The whole point of doing parametric equations to get it into two variables is it's actually easier to calculate a surface area if you have it like this. The implicit form is a little more complex, but at least with the implicit form, you do not need to try to parametrize it first if you can't do that. So we start with this, see how that goes. You guys will have maybe 2 or 3 problems of just parametrizing tonight, and then those same problems for tomorrow night's homework will be to find the surface area of those surfaces. So, all right, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.